Happy Food Waste Day. My name is Erin Meyer. I am the Sustainable Food Programs Coordinator at UC Merced. We're here today to celebrate the occasion of Stop Food Waste Day, a national or international day to increase awareness around food waste and sustainability and such. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat, and feel free and put in any questions in the chat box, and we'll just have a nice little presentation by a couple of folks. I will begin by having Gabby introduce herself. Gabby, you want to say some words?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Gabby Sumashevsky. I work with Erin's team at the Office of Sustainability at UC Merced. I'm excited to have this little Stop Food Waste chat with you all, and nice to virtually meet you all.
Thank you, Gabby. We also have Alasia. Alasia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Alasia Wheatley. I am UC Merced Zero Waste Coordinator. I also am the UC Merced alum.
Thank you. Leah, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Leah Robeson. I'm a consultant with Help and Sustainability Solutions. We're working with different business owners to reduce waste, so less items are going into the landfill. I work with Jennifer Halpin there, and I'm also a UC Merced alum.
Welcome, and that is a good intro for Jen. Jen, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Jen Halpin. Sorry, I know it says Leah Robeson. She gave me the link. But yes, Jen Halpin. I'm not a UC Merced alum. I'm a Fresno State alum, but I am originally from the Merced area. And so I created a private recycling consulting team here, and Leah is my junior consultant. And we're gonna show you guys a well, I don't know if you want to do intros first, but we're going to be showing you guys a pre-recorded video tour of the People's Garden and the People's Fridge over on 18th Street.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll go ahead and show that in just a moment. I want to take a little bit of time to have Tanisha also introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Tanisha McLean. I am a farm to fork chef in Merced, California, and I try to incorporate as much locally sourced, sustainable practices as I can with all of my baked goods and food.
Thank you. And Tanisha frequently donates to the Pop-Up People's Pantry some of her products. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. And then the Baked Banana is another awesome couple bakers in Merced, California. Unfortunately, they cannot attend this event, but they sent in a cute little video that I'll be sharing later too. Their names are Carmen and Kevin, and you can check them out at the Merced County Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 11 over on 16th and Canal. They've got fun little pastries all around, like bananas. So lots of banana bread and stuff. I'm happy to get started. So I will launch it over to Jen and Leah, who are going to talk a little bit about the People's Fridge, People's Pantry, and so on. So Jen, go ahead and let me know when you want me to start your video, or if you want to say some words first.
Thank you, Erin. So let's just go ahead and dive right in to the tour, which I love the programs because it's offering fresh veggies and fruits to the community 24/7. So let's go ahead and just run that video.
Perfect.
Hi everybody, I am Jenny Halpin with Resourceability. We are outside the People's Garden right now. We're going to be showing you the People's Garden as well as the People's Fridge. We're located right now at 936 West 18th Street, which is between Key and Q Street, just down the street from Merced City Hall and the Tioga. So let's go inside the People's Garden right now. Oh, actually, let's go over here and first observe the rules of the People's Garden. So the open hours are between sunrise and sunset. Please respect the garden. So yes, we love it if you guys will pull some weeds if you see it every now and then, but just respect how the plants are planted and don't pull up the whole plant. What's ready to pick, go ahead and pick it. But again, don't pick if it's too early or too soon, and don't take the whole plant. Children must be accompanied by an adult. Horse caution, enter at your own risk. And we're going to check this out later. This has actually been replaced with the People's Fridge. So if you want to learn more about the People's Garden, check them out on Facebook at Merced People's Garden. You can also email here. I'll let you look up the email address, peoplesgarden@ci4ci.org, or call 209-724-0973. Okay, now we have the rules in place. Let's go ahead and go inside. So what I love about the People's Garden is that you have access to fresh veggies and herbs of your choice. And this is year-round, depending on what is in season. Let's go ahead and we'll check out this side. This side looks like we have some herbs. If you like the lemon leaf flavor, this is a lemon balm. You can take a leaf of that and put it in your teas or add it as a garnish to your salads, especially on top of fruit salads. Let you take a look at this. Looks like we also have some strawberries over here to the left. Also recommend that if you are going to visit, go ahead and bring out a little those little trimmers so that you're not pulling and tugging on the plants and the veggies, but that you can just simply clip off what you need. Go ahead and go look at these over here too. So if you're planting your own garden at home so that you can have fresh veggies and herbs at the convenience of your own home, what you'll want to do is plant them based on their water needs. So if there are some like lettuce and other type of veggies that need a lot of water, place those together so that they can all get their watering needs. Another helpful hint for making a backyard garden, put some flowers that will attract the pollinators. The pollinators will then be attracted to the veggies and the fruits and the herb flowers. Okay, now we're going to walk over here to the People's Fridge. When you first walk up, there's actually going to be to the left hand side a separate fridge. This one is going to be for the donations. So please, 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 if you have donations, that is the fridge that's going to go into first. We're going to take a look at that one. And then to the right is going to be the actual People's Fridge of where you can take what you need and leave what you don't. So as you can see, this is the People's Fridge. Their slogan, take what you need, leave what you don't. Inside, you're going to have access to whatever's in the fridge. Let's see what's in there today. Like we have some really large grapefruits, some veggies, some avocados, peppers. So again, you can take any item that you would like. This is open 24/7. There's also some non-perishables over here to the side. And again, this is just for the pickup of what you need. If you're having donations, you're going to put that into the fridge behind it, which I'll show you in a minute. So the rules of the People's Fridge are right here. The do's: do take only what you need, do keep the fridge clean at all times, do keep the doors closed when not in use, and do report if you notice signs of damage or tampering of the fridge and or food items by completing this form on bit.ly/fridge check-in. Don'ts: do not fiddle with the thermostat. We have that set to what it needs to be set at. Don't take items that are damaged. And also, please do not place anything into the freezer. That is not for donations, and we do not have frozen items right now. So examples of fruits and veggies that can be donated are, let's say you have a lemon tree out in the back of your home and it's producing so many lemons and you don't know what to do with them. You can bring them over here to the People's Fridge. We'll weigh that and then we'll put them into the People's Fridge here so that people have access to that for their teas, for their meals, and whatever else they're going to be using it for. Some other examples are some non-perishables. So let's say some canned goods, canned beans, canned fruits, soups, things like that. Those are also examples. So do not place the donations into the people's fridge directly, because what we need to do is when we have the fruits and veggie donations, we actually need to weigh those so that we can track how much we're diverting with the donations. So you're going to place your fruits and vegetables inside this fridge or your non-perishables to the side. So thank you for coming out here with me to the People's Garden, the People's Fridge. Just a reminder, this fridge here and the table to the side is for the donations only. This side is a People's Fridge. You can take what you need, leave what you don't. Donations fridge. Donations fridge. All right. Thanks again. I'm Jenny Halpin with Resourceability, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you, Erin. So I love the program that you guys started up over there, and I just wanted to share some numbers. I mentioned, and I keep saying we, that's a habit, sorry, but it's actually Erin and the volunteers that do all of that. So there are some numbers that about 174 pounds are donated weekly from the public to the community, which is awesome. And since the inception date, it's been about 6,773.5 pounds donated. Just for reference, about 2,000 pounds is a ton. So that's more than 3 tons of food being offered back to community, which I think is great. So I just want to say appreciation for how much you guys do, and I love the programs.
Thank you. Would you like me to go ahead and start up that other video?
Yeah, so the next video is going to be about, I don't know if you guys know about the pop-up, so the people's pop-up pantry. So if there is excess veggies and fruit from the fridge and from donations, then it's also offered to the community on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. to the community. And again, that's the pop-up people's pop-up pantry. That's a lot of, yeah. So go ahead and we'll look at the video of what type of produce is available to the public during those events.
Thank you. Yeah, the alliteration was meant to be cute. I think it's still cute, but it is also kind of tongue-tied sometimes. But it makes it easy to remember. Just to repeat, pop up people's pantry. All right, I'm gonna start this video real quick. Let me do the screen share. All right, did you guys see that one?
Yes, and there's a lot of good stuff there, and I'm so thankful that you're able to get those donations from anonymous donors and the community giving back, because that food could have just been tossed, and it's perfectly good food, and I love that it's going back to the community.
Thank you. It's pretty rewarding, and our community deserves it, so we get a lot out of it. Thank you so much. Anything else you wanted to add, Jen or Leah?
I mean, the only other thing is, so just as a background, what we do, Leah and I, we help municipalities and commercial businesses divert their waste. So either through recycling or their organics through composting or through edible food programs. So the state of California is actually requiring next year that there are edible food recovery programs within the state. So this is an example of that. And so we are going to be promoting this program and the other programs such as like the Delhi fridge and hopefully other ones that are going to get started. We are going to be promoting those in those communities so that it's also meeting compliance with state requirements.
Thank you. Yeah, and if anyone is wondering or wants to nerd out about this, the state requirement is SB 1383, which is going to start mandating that businesses of certain sizes, businesses and just other operations of certain sizes start either composting or donating edible food to food recovery operators. And so that's going to come down the line. But as we're talking about legislation, maybe one very important piece that we can also mention briefly is the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. which not all know about, but it's a piece of legislation that clears any food donor, whether that's you as a individual, whether that's you, Tanisha, as a baker or chef, or whether that's the farmer or the restaurateur or our universities. It clears any food donor of liability when they donate food in good faith to a nonprofit. So if you donate your food to someone like the food bank or our programs, you cannot be sued if someone were to get sick, so long as you know that that food or thought that food was wholesome and such. A lot of people don't know about that piece of legislation and frequently fear that they might be sued if it were to make someone sick. So don't fear, that piece of legislation covers everyone. And we're hoping to also, by we, I mean the nation, like people in this field are hoping to kind of change the wording of that to increase donations to not just nonprofits, but everyone. So like we could go outside and feed the homeless person. Because right now, if you can only donate to a nonprofit, that is kind of limited. So yeah, that might be a helpful piece of knowledge. Spread the word on that. I'm going to now give it over to Alasia, who's going to present on composting. And you're a co-host, so hopefully you can share your screen. If not, let me know.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, do you see me as a presenter, or do you see like the actual presentation?
Well, I see your slides kind of small, and then you're on the side.
Okay. So my name's Alicia Wheatley. I'll be talking about composting. Let me just get right on into it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I'm not a compost expert, but I've done a lot of composting in my day. So definitely can answer some questions. So what is composting? Composting is a natural process of recycling organic materials such as leaves and food scraps into a valuable fertilizer that can enrich soil and plants. So the three basics of composting. You always want your compost pile to have these three things: ground, screens, and water. Without these three things, you won't be able to properly break down the organic materials in them. So your browns would include dead leaves, branches, twigs, paper, and this provides carbon to your compost. For greens, you want grass clippings, food scraps, or coffee grounds. These would provide nitrogen, and then water. So this will provide moisture to help break down those organic materials. So some simple do's and don'ts. You can put eggshells, tea bags. One thing is I would make sure that the metal, sometimes they have like little metal things on them, make sure that's taken off. Nutshells, cardboard, but you want to break it down into smaller pieces. Sawdust, shredded paper, hair and fur, surprisingly, and fireplace ashes. What you do not want to place in your what you don't want to place in your compost is dairy products and eggs, fats, grease, oils, and lards, pet feces and litter, meat or fish bones and scraps of meat, coal or charcoal ash, black walnut tree leaves and twigs, yard trimmings treated with chemical pesticides. You don't want your organic material to then be tainted with pesticide usage. So the benefits of composting is it reduces the waste stream. Can, um, so composting at home allows us to divert some of that waste from landfills and turns it into something practical for our yards. It helps reduce our methane. I'm sorry, can you see? Can you see the benefits of composting?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, 1 second. My computer just went totally crazy. Erin, would you be able to share it?
Yeah, is it stuck on benefits of composting for you?
Yeah. I think it can stay on benefits of composting. Oh, really? I'm sorry, I have like 2 screens, so it does what it wants. Okay. So, I'm sorry about that, y'all.
Okay. Can you see benefits of composting on my screen now?
Yes.
Just tell me when to switch slides.
Thank you. Perfect. So methane. Yeah, because we discussed it. Yeah. So methane. Typically, when organic matter decomposes, it undergoes aerobic decomposition, meaning that microorganisms are broken down that require oxygen. When compost waste goes into landfill, it's buried under all of this trash. All the other landfill items that we put with it. That's for cutting off that regular supply of oxygen for the decomposers. So when that happens, the waste ends up going under this anaerobic decomposition. So they make organisms that live without free flowing oxygen, which then creates the byproduct of biogas, which then produces methane into the air, which we don't want that to happen. We already have enough methane, sadly, in the world. If you were to, one of the biggest statistics when it comes to methane is the landfills are the third largest source of human generated methane in the United States. So we want to cut that down. Soil health. So compost contains 3 primary nutrients needed by garden crops. So nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. It also contains trace materials like other essential elements like calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc, which is really good for your soil. And these are amazing fertilizers that are needed to, have that organic, the organic material that you want. So if you are composting or using compost, you won't need those harmful chemicals or those synthetic fertilizers. You'll have the real things. And this also, composting has been shown to increase soil's water retention, the capacity, productivity, and resilience. Water. So research has kind of also shown that water retention capacities increase with the addition of organic materials. By using compost, this will help foster healthy soils, so farmers don't have to use as much water and can have higher yields compared with farmers with degrading soil. And then it also just reduces food waste, which I would like to say the best way to reduce your food waste is to prevent it from occurring in the first place. But also there's things that you can't consume. Like for example, your banana peel. You can't eat that, but it's amazing to put into your compost. So discarding of those items that you would usually just toss in the trash because you have no use for them. You can go on to the next slide. Okay. Closed bins. Yeah, closed bins. So there's many options of compost bins. It all just depends on what works best for you and your lifestyle at the moment. A closed bin is a really good starter off composting option. This open bin kind of allows nutrients to travel directly into the soil. You can buy one yourself or build one yourself, or even use things like old wine crates, plastic storage bins, a garbage can, an old wooden dresser, wood pallets, just those little things to build one or just use one as yourself. Closed bin is really good if you, especially living in Merced, we have a lot of animals around. And so one really benefit of the closed bin is you don't have to worry about animals getting into your compost because they love it. So that's the closed bin. An open bin, another amazing option. It usually requires less maintenance than other compost bins. And one really cool thing about an open bin is you can really use a loop of chicken wire and just dump the materials into that chicken wire and just keep piling it on. You'll have easier access to the composting material. The primary disadvantage of this is it's easily accessible by animals or insects, and it's gonna spill out from the chicken wire. Another really good option, especially if you like live in an apartment or you don't want to have to shovel and rotate your compost yourself, is a tumbler sealed container. And this is just a sealed container on an axle with the base and like usually a rotated handle, so that you can turn your container of compost instead of having to dig and rotate it yourself. This helps retain moisture and heat, but this also makes sure that you have to monitor that, especially if you live in the Merced climate where it can be really hot, because you want your compost to be at a certain temperature. But one way that you can also deal with this is just to get one with like built-in air vents or poke holes. Another really big benefit of tumbler composting bins is you can convert waste to finished compost in as little as 3 weeks to a month sometimes. So you can have that compost really fast. So that's nice. Next slide. So if you really like compost, I know indoor composting is something that people always are like, yeah, I don't know about that. It's going to smell. It usually doesn't, as long as you have it covered. But it's an option just so you can have like just a little plastic tote or even a plastic gallon. You can have a crate and have indoor compost underneath your sink. This way you don't have to go outside. It's right there. You can just literally toss it in while you're cooking. That's another cool form of compost. Another very interesting that you can do indoor and outdoor, if you have the space for it, is vermicomposting, which is also known as worm composting. So really cool thing about vermicomposting is, so you have your compost bin and you have kind of You have worms at the bottom, and then you have their bedding and some soil. And you want their bedding to be made out of like carbon heavy materials, like shedded paper, shedded carbon, dried leaves, those kind of things. And you feed the worms once a week with your food waste underneath their bedding. Um, ideal ideal things are like food and vegetable scraps, bread and grains, coffee grounds, use tea leaves. You don't want to feed them any animal byproducts, oils, or anything too thick. It'll take too long for them to decompose them. You kind of want the moisture level to be of like a damp sponge. But it's really cool. I recommend if you've never heard of vermicomposting, to actually take a look online and look into it. But it's really interesting to see, and you just have worms doing your composting for you. So that's really cool. Next slide. And that is it. If anyone has any questions, free to answer.
I would like to add the vermicompost. There used to be a teacher over at Bellevue Elementary in Atwater, and they actually used to give away worms for people to have the vermicompost at home. I don't know if they still do that, especially nowadays, but I know that used to be the case. And then they used to give away the compost because the vermicompost, it's actually even better, right? Because it's what's naturally going on underneath us right now. And so,
and it's
yeah,
really interesting.
Yeah,
it's really interesting to see. And on top of that, it's just like the tumbler. It takes like 3 weeks to a month for you to that turnaround.
Yes, I wish I had some worms because I would totally do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. That was great. There is a question that was sent to me. Can I share your presentation out, Alicia?
Yes, totally. And then I'm going to be adding on our website also some things. And then we're probably just look on our social UC Merced sustainability social media, because I will be posting some starter things. I'm going to start my own composting soon. I'm actually going to go look at some bins today, and I'm going to try to record my journey of starting to compost at home.
We should definitely include that as part of our Zero Waste June. Maybe you do like some sort of Zero Waste June challenge with composting. But think about that. I'm going to give it over to Tanisha so that we can stay on time. We're running a little bit behind, but I want to make sure that everyone gets the chance to present all they want. So Tanisha, welcome. I'm so excited to hear what you do with food waste, surplus food, and all your awesome baked items and such.
Okay, hello. Sorry, I stopped to get a little bit of water. Okay. Hi. All right, so I don't really have a presentation. I am just going to talk to you and geek out with y'all about some food and how I utilize from the farm to the fork. And so, let's see, I do a couple types of food. Let's see, I do private chef work, so I do actual savory items. And I am at the Merced Farmers Market on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I have a booth, so I do pastries for that. And then I also am a bartender when I'm not doing any of this. So I do a lot of my own cherries when they're in season. I make teas. I do kind of a little bit of everything just to be able to utilize whole foods as much as possible. I'm gonna put this on my little stand, and we are in my second room, which is where my second fridge and some shelving is, and where I happen to do some packaging for the food. All right, so what I have here in my little space is kind of some of the examples of overabundance that was given to me that I've made into other products, or that I will be in the process of making into other products. So I have two dehydrators, and one of my favorite things to do is to take citrus that people give me, because right now, like, California citrus is going crazy, and I dehydrate it. And sometimes I will candy the oranges before I dehydrate them. And sometimes these are just plain dried blood oranges. And what I like to do with that is these go into products. They are really pretty for cakes. They are also they also go into teas. So I have a rose orange lavender tea that I make that these get crushed up and go into. But they also, like I said, they also can go into drinks, into cocktails. You can float them on top if you have a really pretty cocktail and you want to ooh and all your friends. Um, so they're very versatile. I just leave the skin on, or if I have oranges or other citrus that I have already zested, then I can just cut those into these same wedges, and you can't even tell the skin's not on some of these. So they're still really pretty. You get to use the zest. You get to sometimes even use the juice, and you can even take the ones that have been squished up, and you can cut those into chunks and make dried orange, and then you can candy those. So you have the way to use the whole product, and that's kind of what's in most abundance right now. There's another tea I made. It has dried Jamaica flowers, so dried hibiscus flowers and jasmine, and it has actual, like, because I had some peels left from some limes, I utilized those. The I have lots of people drop off product at my home. They're just like, "Hi, so I have extra of these cherries. Do you want them?" Yes, I would like them. Thank you. So I have a bag of frozen cherries that my friend's birthday is coming up. So I'm going to actually today be making a brandied candied cherry for the cocktails that I'm going to bartend for her birthday party. So if you go to Riverdance Farms, which has a U-Pick program when cherries are in season, or any other local area, and you get, cherries or other stone fruit, and you're wondering what to do with them, you'll pick them, and then you can put them in your freezer, and then you can utilize them in your baked goods. You can utilize them for your adult libations or other products of that sort. These cherries, all I'm going to do is take some brown sugar, make a brine with brown sugar and water, and then brandy, and then I'm going to let them sit for about 3 weeks, and then they'll be in a jar in the fridge, and they'll be good for my cocktails. I also utilize, right now is the season for fresh eggs. I've been getting duck eggs and regular eggs from a farmer. So I have some of her regular eggs. And at Dollar Tree and some other places, they have these containers that you can get for fresh eggs. Or even if you get a large amount of eggs and get these are more sustainable than, getting the ones that you throw away. So I have a bunch of these for my fresh eggs. So that's what I use in my pastries. I try when it's in season, because not everything's in season all the time. We are in California and we have abundance, but not every single season. So right now, everyone's chickens have eggs. So the egg purveyor that I get mine from is Happy Hens. They're great. She's wonderful, kind of really, really small. But the duck eggs that she gives me are actually the size of chicken eggs. So I don't actually have to reconcile the differences in the yolk and the albumin and the egg white. Sometimes they are a little larger, so then I have to weigh them, but they taste so much better. The egg yolks in fresh eggs are bright orange, and they have kind of more nutrients than others. So that's been pretty cool. That's been what I'm going to be doing until probably right at summer, when it gets too hot for the chickens to lay. And then I would have to go back to uh, a smaller store, but still store bought. So I also get a copious amount of aromatics delivered to me from local folks who have an overabundance of mint and rosemary and thyme. I actually got some thyme, which I have misplaced. But I got some time from the People's Garden when I went to the People's Pop-Up Pantry on Saturday. And so that's gonna the rosemary and the thyme are gonna go in my biscuits this Saturday for Saturday's market. I also try to get produce from the other market vendors. We kind of sometimes barter items. So last week I got these red walnuts from Shasky Farms, and I bartered kind of some of the pastries with them, and then I actually the next week made red walnut blondies. So it's kind of a cyclical thing. It's straight from the farmer to me to the product. So there's not any middle person. And I really love talking to people about the farms that I get the items from. So I kind of geek out just about every Saturday with people. They're like, "Oh, where are these lemons from? Like these lemon cookies." One of my friends who has an overabundance from Serrano Farms, they gave me Meyer lemons. So next week it was Meyer lemon melt-away cookies and all sorts of things. So that's how I determine what I'm making in the week. Some weeks it's less product available, or I've done like lemon too much, so I won't utilize it till the next week. So in that case, I will juice the lemons, I will zest them, I will put them in the fridge and the freezer so that I can have that still fresh and still sustainable for another use instead of having them go bad. I do that with the orange juice as well. I get so many oranges when I'm not making them into pretty art or making them into tea or anything. I make smoothie bowls just about every day, and so fresh squeezed orange juice with fresh berries that cut up and processed down and frozen, with a little bit of oat milk, easy breakfast. So I try to use as much of the locally sourced items as possible if I can, because we are in an area that has an overabundance of really cool stuff. And I try to get people to geek out as much as I geek out about the food, because then they get more interested in where items are sourced, or talking about conscious consumerism. And it gets interesting when you see other people who are starting to eat seasonally. You get more nutrients when you eat seasonally. You get more, um, everything tastes better. When a strawberry is at its peak season, right now I have maybe 2 boxes of strawberries in that fridge that are going to be processed down from a stand on 59. And I freeze them. So when they're in the peak season, and you have it, even when you have it when it's frozen, you can taste exactly how fresh it is still, even when it's still frosted, versus something that's been sitting, or something that's not local, or something that's not necessarily from here. People don't understand that when you're eating seasonally, you're also saving yourself money as well. So that's something I actually learned. I grew up relatively poor, and the use what you have structure was for survival. It was, okay, what do we have in the fridge? Okay, we're going to go ahead and make it with this and this, and then we just created new products. So that's what I do, and I try to. I've done some things with Restore Merced, where I've gone to the gotten food from, like, the cans they might get from the food pantry, and I've mixed it with some fresh produce, so that you can potentially you can make things stretch, so you can eat healthy even if you're not necessarily getting the most healthy based staples. Kind of shown them a whole dinner that you can make for $20, showing people how you can make food stretch, or how to more consciously buy so you can eat well and still stay within some semblance of a budget. So those are all the things I do. And sorry for geeking out at you really hard, but yeah. So I will be at the market on Saturday, and it's every Saturday. Well, lots of Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 11.
Beautiful.
So
Never apologize for geeking out on that. Oh, it's amazing. Thank you so much. And then I'm going to start another video real quick from the baked banana. If I could share my screen properly.
Hey. Good evening. My name's Carmen and
I'm Kevin.
we're from the Baked Banana. You may have seen us out at the farmer's market on Saturdays in downtown Merced. We make banana bread and all kinds of goodies and other treats, cookies, baked
That's right.
goods. And we're here to help you guys stop food waste with some awesome tips on how to use things that are getting old or, a little too ripe in your kitchen. And we want to thank Erin for having us be a part of this.
Yes, thank you, Erin.
Yeah, she's always out at the farmer's market at the end of the day to help collect things that are left over, surplus, extra stuff. So she's doing her part to stop food waste every day with the People's Pantry. We really appreciate the work that she's doing, and along with everyone else in that association. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys. We just wanted to share with you our favorite recipe for banana bread when you want to add another fruit to it. We do a lot of banana bread flavors, not just plain banana bread, but we do like strawberry, blueberry, apple cinnamon, zucchini, these kinds of things. So we wanted to share with you a basic recipe, like a master recipe that you can kind of play with and add your own twist to, depending on what you have and what's extra in your kitchen at the moment. So,
That's right. We had some extra strawberries and some bananas that were going to go to waste if we didn't do something. So we made some delicious strawberry banana bread.
Natch. Here it is right here. Is it hot?
It's pretty
Yeah,
hot.
it's hot.
It just came out.
This just came out of the oven. I can't tilt it, but maybe touch it anyway. Can you guys smell it? It smells really good. It's got strawberry, a little sugar on top to make it kind of a little extra crusty on there. And we made it in a big, large, regular standard loaf pan size. So I'm gonna give you the recipe for that really quick, and then we'll talk about ways that you can use things in your kitchen to enhance the flavor, to add some pizzazz to your banana bread. So the basic recipe is your wet ingredients are going to be a cup or a half cup of melted butter, so 1 stick of melted butter, and you're going to add that to a cup of sugar. And you can do your sugar however you like. You can mix it up with, we use just for our classic one, we do plain, white sugar, but sometimes we'll mix it up and do half and half with white sugar, brown sugar, or if you're going for something a little healthier, you can cut the sugar in half. You can do agave syrup or maple syrup or honey. You just want to be careful right when you're adding moisture that you add either a little extra flour or take some moisture out in another area, like, maybe not as much banana. You kind of have to play with it. But you can sweeten it however you like. The standard is 1 cup of sugar, and then, take liberties from there. Just have fun with it. You really can't mess up a banana bread too badly.
It always tastes good, even if it doesn't look great.
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna put your sugar and your butter together. You're gonna add 2 eggs or egg substitute. Bananas make a great egg substitute, by the way. So you could just add a little extra banana, or you can add applesauce if you're like, I'm already putting a lot of banana in this and I have something else. Add a little thing of applesauce. Steal it from your kid's lunch. Put it in there. And anyway, applesauce makes a good egg substitute. That with a little cornstarch. So you're gonna add that in, and then you add your banana, a cup of banana. It's essentially 3 bananas, and mix that in. And vanilla if you'd like, anywhere from a half teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, depending on how much vanilla you like.
Don't be afraid to be generous.
Yeah, just splurge it in there.
Whatever looks good.
Yeah. And then you're gonna do your dry ingredients, which is gonna be 2 cups of flour, and a teaspoon of baking powder and a half teaspoon of baking soda. And if you mess that up, don't worry about it. Just get a teaspoon and a half or so of some kind of rising agent like that in there. You could probably just do a teaspoon of baking soda to be fine.
Been there.
Yeah, I mix it up all the time, so don't worry. And then you want a half teaspoon of salt, and whisk that all together and add it to your wet mixture, and add a quarter cup to a half cup of buttermilk. Of course, you can make vegan substitutions for all these ingredients, like butter can be substituted, of course, for a vegan butter, or avocado oil, coconut oil, canola oil, whatever you got on hand.
Got some freedom there.
Some kind of fat in there, some butter or some oil of some kind. And then, again, the sugar you can play with however sweet you like it. And then you've got your banana as your base, but you can add whatever fruit you like at this point. You can do a cup of chopped strawberries like we did. You can do blueberries. What else do we do?
Blackberries, apple, pear.
Peach.
No.
Peach is really wet though, so be careful. Sometimes if it's a really wet fruit, you want to like lay it out maybe on some paper towels first or strain it a little bit. Even straining your banana can be a good idea if, say, it's come out of the freeze, like if you've frozen it, and sometimes it's like really wet, just strain some of the liquid off, and that, especially if you're making banana cookies, that's a good thing to do because then it doesn't, you know, they're not too wet. But straining your fruit is a good idea. We do zucchini in our banana bread. You don't have to strain that though. It adds plenty of good moisture that way.
You can use fresh or frozen fruit.
Yeah, and then based on what you're adding, think about the flavors that you might want to add with that, what goes well with the type of fruit that you're adding. If you're adding strawberries, you know, you might want to add like, maybe add a little extra berry for dimension. You know, you could do strawberry and blackberry, strawberry and blueberry. Blueberry goes great with lemon. Zucchini is really good with cinnamon and sugar. Pumpkin is good that way too, of course, pumpkin spice. Any kind of squash is good with those warmer flavors. Maple syrup. Lemon zest, orange zest adds some really good flavor to enhance a banana bread. Don't be afraid, like banana doesn't sound like it would go good with lemon or orange, but it actually really does. The banana adds just a really nice sweetness. So, and then of course you can brown your butter if you're looking for another way to enhance the flavor. That's a really good, sometimes we do a brown butter and beer in our banana bread. Got a little extra beer.
Yeah. Don't want that beer going to waste.
Stout or just a plain regular beer. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. So these are just some good things you can put in there, and you can put dried fruit, coconut, chocolate chips, whatever you have. Just toss it in your banana bread and see what happens. Of course, you can put nut butters and things like that in there too. Turns out really great. So some things you can do with the banana peels though. We make a lot of banana bread, so we have a lot of banana peels, and if we were to compost them all, right? As one of our customers pointed out, we would just have a pile of banana peels. So we try and do different things with our banana peels. You can make a little bit of a banana water and water your plants with them for a little extra potassium.
You can dry them up in the sun and then chop them up or grind them up in like a food processor, and that makes a really good, general purpose fertilizer, especially for things like potatoes or rose bushes, things that really like potassium.
Yeah, so it's great for your garden. You can throw a banana peel at the base of a rose bush and see what happens. That is good for your plants. So, and you can also make things like vegan bacon. Check that out. There's some really neat videos of that online where you add like some heavy spices and whatnot and some, to get a nice caramelized, and you dry out the peel a little bit, and it's supposed to have a texture and flavor just like bacon. So
check it out.
Yeah.
And eggshells are really great for the garden too, or the compost pile. Rinse those out before you throw them in there. Just kind of keeps things a little cleaner.
And if you're tired of banana bread, I know quarantine, banana bread has been like all over the place, right? It's like banana bread renaissance. But if you're tired of the bread, there's lots of things you can make with banana. Like I said, you can make cookies, you can make scones, you can make donuts, you can make cake, throw them in some pancakes. They're a great egg substitute anywhere you bake. So you can put them in almost anything.
And it doesn't always make something super banana flavored.
Yeah.
You just add some nice general sweetness.
Cut them up and dehydrate them, bake them like at a low temperature for a couple of hours.
Have little banana
a little
chips.
Lemon juice on them, and they make some really tasty banana chips. Yeah, so there's lots of fun things you can do with those.
Dip them in chocolate.
Yes. At the very least, you can take a banana, duct tape it to a wall, and sell it for a couple $100,000.
Make yourself some extra money.
Thank you guys for listening to us for a little bit. We just wanted to share a few things that we do with bananas and extra fruit around the house. When things are in season, you can always throw it in what you're baking. So have fun experimenting and come see us sometime out at the farmer's market on Saturdays, 8 to 11 behind Bob Hart Square downtown.
That's right. Thank you again to Erin and all the good people at the People's Pantry and Fridge and everything, doing great work. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for letting us be a part of it. Have a great day.
Bye.
So that was amazing. I was also at the store the other day and they had banana peel, like leather kind of thing. Like they made these banana peel leather chewy items. I'm not sure. I walked past it.
It was 2:45 p.m. on a rainy Friday in Los Angeles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
My dad.
The next YouTube video started playing. I apologize for that. It is not 2:45 p.m. But it is almost 1 p.m. and our event is supposed to end rather soon. So I'm going to let Gabby take it away. She's going to talk to us a little bit about some food scraps.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so let me just try to go over this a bit quick. I have a little slide here. So yeah, basically like what we're just trying to get at is like different ways to reuse all your food scraps or like food waste that you have, right? So instead of like a bunch of people talked about today, instead of just composting them, these are some other great ideas you could incorporate. I know a big one, like a lot of people have gotten into also with quarantine, is just like freezing your leftover veggie scraps, or even the bone scraps that you have. You can make a veggie broth with all them, which is really awesome. Cooking root to stem. Most stems actually can be eaten, they just need to be tender enough to eat. Or you can even just blend them up and put them in smoothies. That's a great way to get them. One of my other favorites is to use citrus peels to make like a DIY cleaner. You just fill it with vinegar, let it soak for like a night or two, depending on how fragrant you want it, and then just use it as a nice all natural cleaner with no extra harsh chemicals, and it really gets the job done. I was surprised when I made it myself how great it worked. Another great idea with all these like citrus peels you might have, you can candy them or make different marmalades that are just really delicious, and I think like really just are way better than the store-bought stuff. Of course, when you make it your own, it's always way better in my opinion. And also like the banana bread people were talking about, like if you have older brown bananas, use them for great banana bread. They actually have extra sweetness as well, so that's really awesome. And then yeah, this last point, just use stale bread to make croutons. You could even blend them up, use like as a crust for like a pie or like pizza or anything. That all works really great. Yeah, I'd love to hear if you guys incorporate any of these tips or what you do to reduce your food waste scraps.
I think one cool thing that I do that we kind of is like very relevant to right now is citrus fruits. So when I get them, I know like because you never can get like a couple here in Merced. They always want to give you this big old bag, and I find that like I don't want them to go bad, so I have ice containers that I squeeze lemon into or in lime, and then when I have water or something, I'll just add the ice cube so that I'm not that the lemons don't get to go bad in my house.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So hopefully this inspired you all to just get a little more creative with your food scraps, and just kind of have fun with it as well. And thank you all for attending.
Yeah, thank you. And feel free to send any questions to us. This was recorded, and I'm going to go ahead and send out the recording later today once it's ready on YouTube. I will also include a ton of links, some of like the videos that we saw, some links to the presentations, the food scrap flyers, and way too much information for us food waste nerds, I guess, or maybe not enough. I don't know. And then I'm also going to announce some of the awesome events that we have upcoming, which a lot of them actually have to do with food waste still. So there's some events in May that we'll be promoting and everything. And those will all be listed in the email. So I want to wish you all a happy Stop Food Waste Day. And thank you all. Thanks for the presenters for presenting and the attendees for listening.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.